Hi, I'm Tim from RealWebsiteHints.com. In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you step by step how you can design a single blog post page in WordPress. This tutorial is based on the Divi theme, which has been a favorite of mine over the past few years, and it has now expanded its capabilities to allow you to design and modify just about any part of your WordPress website. So if you've ever been frustrated, like I have, by static WordPress themes, or making even the most basic changes to the layout of your single blog post pages, or changing the background of your website, making any of these kind of changes requires complicated steps and modifying the underlying code of your theme. This tutorial might be really exciting, and you'll be able to see how you can make changes like these to any part of your WordPress website using the Divi theme. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to modify a single blog post page template. We're going to modify the design so that it works better for keeping your viewers on your website, or you can modify it in a way that helps you to make additional income by adding ads to a sidebar on your blog posts. What you're going to learn in this video can be expanded, and it will open up a ton of possibilities for optimizing the look and feel of just about any aspect of your WordPress website. From archive pages, to your blog post, to single blog post page layouts, WooCommerce products, and the list goes on. And once you've created one template that you're happy with, you can then duplicate that template and make minor modifications to it so that it works better for specific categories on your website or specific tags if that's what you choose to do. This is a great starting point for someone who is just getting started and wants to learn how to design their own WordPress theme using Divi, or for someone who is looking to take advantage of the opportunities for refining their viewer interactions on your website. This is the first tutorial that I've created, and it focuses on designing a single blog post page. And we're not going to have to start from scratch and have a blank page to start out with. I'm going to be downloading a free single blog post page template from the Divi website, which is really going to help us speed up the designing process. You find links to all the resources that I talk about in this tutorial in the description below, including a link to the Divi theme. Some of these links are affiliate links, which help me to support the reviews and the free tutorials that I make on this channel and on my website, so thanks for your support. Let's dive in and get started. Okay, so this here is the template that we're going to be using, and I got this template directly from Elegant Themes, the makers of Divi, and that's something that they've been really good at, is creating a bunch of different templates that you can get started with to build your website. So I'll link to it down below, but this is where I got it from. I got it from the Elegant Themes blog, and then it's called the 4th free theme builder pack for Divi. And you just scroll down here. You do need to give them your email in order to be able to download the pack, but the pack is for free, and you can always just unsubscribe from their mailing list if you don't want to be part of their mailing list. So let's go ahead and let's just quickly take a look at what this post looks like. So the reason why I chose this post is this is kind of part of my tutorial series on how to build a travel blog website. And one of the things that I think is really important for a good quality travel blog is to have great images and to sort of lead with those great images. So what I like about this layout, and the reason why I picked this layout, is we have this nice big image here, and I like the way that the title of the blog post is kind of overlapping that, and it's definitely a clear box that it's in. And I like the idea of having a background behind here. Kind of want to change the background of this section, kind of put my own stamp on it and give it kind of my own look, but I do like the idea of having a background, nice title with its clear box kind of overlapping the image, so it looks like all the elements are tied together. And then we've got the metadata down here, which is also in a box, sort of mimicking what the title looks like. I really like that. Might want to move around where these things are exactly, but I definitely like the overall look of it and sort of the feel that this has, and the fact that they've already... Now, as we scroll down here, we'll see where the main post content is here. And this part I don't like. And I find that Divi does this a lot with their pre-made layouts, is they kind of just put one giant block of text. And two things that I don't like about this. One is I find that it's a lot easier to read text when it's in a narrower window. I mean, if you look at like a magazine or a newspaper, you don't ever see one giant wide section of text. It's always in smaller columns. So I definitely think that from a reading experience, it's better to have a narrower column for your viewers to look at. I think it makes it easier to read. The other thing is I think that using the rest of the space over here for a sidebar, where if you're if you're building a blog as part of a business or as a way of building an audience, it would be great to have some things on the side here, be directing people here to some other posts or top items that other people have found interesting. So you might want to lead them to your other top posts over here. There's definitely a variety of things you might want to do here. It's either sort of sell or lead people to some of your other great content. That way, if they're sort of getting bored while they're reading this, but they've liked it, they might want to click over here and check out some other things from you. Now, as we scroll down here, in this particular template, we've got the written by section, which I definitely think is a very nice looking section, but I don't think it's a great way of optimizing the space. I mean, if your reader gets to the bottom of your post, chances are, unless you're really trying to promote specific writers, that's not the next thing you want them to do. The next thing you want them to do is probably read some more posts. So I think I definitely would want to move this related posts up here. And then I think what I'm going to do is at the bottom below this, maybe even before the comments, I'm going to add a section to encourage people to sign up for our mailing list. Definitely becoming less of a fan of having the pop-ups to have people sign up for your mailing list. I find it quite irritating. I don't know what you guys find it, but I feel like if you're going to do a pop-up for an email mailing list, don't do it 5 seconds after the person started reading your blog. I mean, they don't even know if they like it yet. So I say either put it at the end of your blog posts. There's a great chance that if somebody's gotten to the end of your blog post, they already really like it and they might want to sign up for it. Or have the pop-up come up near the end of the blog post. But don't have it come in like 5 seconds after somebody started reading your blog post. They don't even know who you are yet. So give them a minute to figure it out. That's just, my 2 cents on that. And then we've got the comment section down here, and then this is part of the footer for this whole theme. So something you might want to use or not use. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing to do is to go ahead and download this template here. I've already done that. And so let's go to the back end of our website. So with the Divi theme, to make modifications to the various different theme parts, so in this case, the blog post would be a theme part. Also, where you see a listing of all your blog posts, either like the archive page or your main blog page, that would be a theme part. Or if you have an online store, the online store product pages, or the overall listing of all the products, those would be a theme parts. So if you're editing something like that in the Divi theme, what you want to do is go over here to the Divi logo, and then you want to click on Theme Builder. And then the next step is to import that theme part. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on this little Import Export button here, and we're going to switch it over to Import. And we're going to find the file. So when you download the file from the Elegant Themes website, it'll come here as a zip file. So what we want to do is we want to unzip it. And then we'll get this folder here. And then inside the folder are the various different types of pages that were created in that theme pack. So we're going to do the post template here. So we're just going to drag this over. I'm just going to close this window here. And now, this is really important here because it can really mess up your entire website. You can either have it override your default website template, which if you already have a website that's working, or if you don't want to make any big shocks to your website, you don't want to have this clicked. So let's just unclick this right here. And then allow the import to override existing assignments. We also want to unclick this for now. It's pretty easy to add it back in to have it basically override all of the different post settings. But let's just unclick this for now. And then we're going to go ahead and import the Divi Theme Builder template. Click on that. So your choice here is to either have them relink it to your existing header and footer, which is the default, so probably what you want to do, or you can have it installed as a custom header and footer specifically for this new theme template that you're going to be creating. Okay, so then once we have it installed, it comes over here and it says unassigned, and we can sort of go ahead and look at what the body of it looks like. So here we go. This is the default template and what it looks like when you first install it. And it's unassigned because it hasn't been assigned to any posts or any types of pages yet, and we can do that right after we've sort of designed it the way we want to. So let's go ahead and start designing this. So we're going to go ahead and click on the custom body. Okay, so one of the first quick and easy things we can do is kind of change this hero color here. And the hero color I've got is fairly similar, but with Divi, one of the cool things is it's very easy to change these across the entire page. So we're just going to go over here to the settings. I'm going to go to image and icon. Rather, we're going to go to design. That's where the color setting is. So to do that, you actually don't want to change the color here. You first want to go over here to the three little dots, and we're going to click Find and Replace. And we want to replace this color here, which was the default color that came with the template, and we want to replace it with our hero color, which is actually very close. It's FC5348 is the one that I'm working with. And then you want to click here to replace all. And now this is going to replace every instance of this color here across this entire page with this new hero color here. Let's go ahead and click Replace. And click Check in. Don't see a big difference because the color is fairly close, but that should match. Let's see if it matches here with the text color, which I believe is under Design, Text, and then Link. And then the default link color is actually a different color. I'm going to go ahead and just make it the same hero color just for consistency. Check. So now this section here is where the post content is. So there we go. Now I thought about moving this dynamic title here down across here, which is what I did when I sort of was trying this out. But I think I've decided I kind of like it up here. So I'm going to leave that right there. Let's work on putting this and putting our post content here with a sidebar next to it. So to do that, I'm going to add a new section down here. I'm going to do a specialty section. You could really do a regular section for the way that I'm going to do this, but what a specialty section allows you to do is to have a different column layout for the left than you have for the right. So it basically creates a sidebar type setup. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we're going to select this here with sort of the 1/3 sized sidebar on the right here. And then all you have to do is just drag in this post content section here. Oh, but before we do that, we have to add a section here. So we're going to add a full width row to that specialty section. And now you can just drag this in over here. And I also want to kind of remove some of the spacing here. Get the post content a little bit closer to the image here. So one of the cool things here that I noticed when working with this template is that what they've done here is they've taken the blurb module and they've used it to create this metadata section. So let's add another metadata section here for the writer. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate this since it already has basically the styling that I want. Go over here to Settings, and then we can delete this. So that was the title, was the post metadata, and if you click this little icon here, this is going to pull from our WordPress database, and we've got all of these different options. So in this case, we're going to use the post author, and then if you wanted to write something before, like written by, you can just add that in there. Be sure to add that second space there. Click Check, and then for the image or icon, let's choose an icon that kind of matches up with a writer. So I'm just going to use the pencil icon here. And there we go. So now we've added this to the metadata. And then down here, we can add some more modules. So let's go ahead and add a call to action module here. And since this is a travel website, I'm just going to create one real quick here. And I don't really have too much to say here, so I'm just going to grab some generic Ipsum here. This one's travel Ipsum from Make Your Own Ipsum, which is kind of fun to just have some travel-related words in there. And just toss that in there real quick. And then for the background, I'm going to use white as the background color, but I'm also going to use a background image. So let's see here, one of my travel images, we'll grab this one here. It's a picture I took when I was in Portugal last year. And we obviously don't need that to be full-sized. Medium should be fine. So that's going to be, as you can see here, it's going to be the background. And then to get the text to show up a little bit better, let's add a gradient background, because with the gradient, we can have it come up over the image. So I'm going to do white, and I'm going to do just a slight gray, just so we see some sort of difference there. And I'm going to place gradient above background image like this. And then make that more transparent. So here on the color sections, we'll just drag the transparency down a little bit. Do the same for the first color. There we go, something like that. And then the text design, we'll go over to the design tab here, change the text from light to dark. And in the content section, just need to add a link so the button shows up. So you can, until you, as a placeholder, you can just add in a hash and then you'll see the button. Need to design the button really quick. So we click on the design tab, button, custom styles for the button. We'll use our hero color. We'll have that button text color be white. Then we'll scroll down and the button background color will be our hero color. And we'll do the same with the button border color. We'll just increase the border radius a little bit more to make the button a little bit more rounded, kind of match the other buttons on here. And let's see what sort of a bold look looks like there for the button. And let's just increase the text size a little bit more. So it's just an idea of the type of thing you can do. Okay, and then below this, you could also add in, I'm just going to put in an image, but you could add in maybe some ad modules if you wanted to, kind of whatever you want. And then the great thing about using the Divi page builder, I'm just going to toss in an image here real quick. But the great thing about using the Divi page builder is that you could tie this specific blog post layout to, say, a certain category or a certain tag, and then you could have different information show up here on your sidebars. You could have different ads, you could have different calls to action, whatever you wanted that kind of matches with that type of content. So you either could have it the same across all of your blog posts, or you could sort of individualize it using tags or categories and then have this specific design go to certain tags or categories. So really powerful feature. And it's a great feature if you want to develop your blog further. This has made Divi a really powerful feature for blogging, and it makes it, what I think is really easy to design what the overall look is of your blog posts while still using the standard WordPress editor to actually write your blog posts with. So one of the things I want to do over here just for fun and to kind of match up with this design look that we have here is I think I'm going to make the post content here have a box shadow, because I think it looks kind of cool, sort of fun, just add that in there. And we could also do, if we wanted to, we could also do a box shadow for each one of these sections. I'm not going to do that for right now, just kind of want to give you guys a grasp of what this is. Since we put the writer section up above, I'm actually just going to remove this entire writer section here. I don't really like this extra spacing. I kind of want the related posts to be, as close as possible. Great thing with Divi is you can always hit Command Z to undo. I didn't want to remove that. I want to remove this section up here. But what I do want to do below here is add a big email sign-up form. Now, I've got this design idea that I really like for an email sign-up form. So let's go ahead and just add that in. I'm going to add that in actually below the related posts here. So I'm going to add a whole new section here. I'm going to do regular, single width, and we're going to go to email opt-in. And I'm going to give it a title here. And then let's close the text section. For right now, I'm just going to remove the background altogether. I want to put this actually as a background for this entire section. So let's just go back over here. And this way it'll allow us to see kind of what we're working with and what we're doing here. Click on the little gear icon for the section, background, Add a background image, grab that Scotland image that I took. Where'd it go? There it is. I think it's kind of like the perfect image for a travel blog here. And then let's set the minimum height here for this section. Sizing. And we get 1200. Might be kind of overkill. I think you guys will get the idea here. Okay, let's just quickly change the text color from light to the dark color here. And let's change the layout to have the body on top and the form on the bottom. And let's get the text centered here. And let's change the title text and make it quite a bit bigger. I'm going to go with 50 pixels. And let's kind of close the title text tab here, open up the text tab. I definitely always like to have the body text be a little bit larger than kind of the default. I go with, I think 20 should be sufficient here. And let's go ahead and modify the button so it kind of matches the other button styling we have. And then let's make sure that that button text is bold. So change the font weight to bold. There we go. All right, and then one thing to note too when you're adding in an email signup form is that if we go ahead and save this template right here, that the actual form part of it will not show up unless you go through here and under content, you select an email account and actually add in your email provider and make sure that your API or that you've logged into your email provider in the regular Divi settings. Because if you were to go and look at this page and you didn't have the settings already set up, the form field would not show up on an actual blog post until you've done that. So it shows up here while you're designing so you can see what it looks like, but when you go back to your blog post, it won't show up unless you've signed that up. So that's one thing that might trip you up if you're doing this on your own. One of the other things I wanted to do was kind of add my own stamp to the background of these sections here. So what I did, let's see here. So what I did here is I wanted to kind of do a patterned background. The background that came with this template is definitely a very stylized sort of background, probably done in Photoshop, but I just decided to go with a seamless patterned background, which is going to load really quickly and be really easy to do. And the way I did this is I went over to this website called Pattern Cooler, which I really like for creating pattern backgrounds. And as you can see, they've got a bunch of different pattern backgrounds. And one thing to keep in mind about all of these patterns that they have here is that these are the default colors for the patterns, but each pattern that you choose, you can decide what the color is. And that can actually really dramatically change the look of what the pattern is. So it's definitely something you can get started with this, and you really want to play around with the different patterns to sort of get a feel for what you can do. So the pattern that I chose for this, I think, is on page 2 here. It was one of these swirly ones. I'm just going to go with this pattern here, and then you can edit the colors. Just click edit here, and actually I've already put in the hero color. So this was the hero color originally here, and then I used, and then I used my Paletton sort of trick, which I've got a video on for picking a color palette. So I put the hero color in here, and it fed me these other ideas for secondary colors to use. So I've got the complementary color over here, and then this kind of purple color. And so what I did over here in the patterned background is I added those colors in right here. And we've got the color picker over here. And I decided that since it's going to be a background, don't want it to be too intense. So I kind of just randomly sort of dialed it down a bit here for both the colors so that neither of the colors stand up. Just went kind of straight down on there. Just a little bit faded out. Left the black. Also took the black down to gray, which was originally gray here in this pattern. And then you can add or remove a texture from this. Kind of depends on, you know, sort of what you want. Let's go with the concrete. Probably should just go with no texture and just dial the opacity down a lot. So it's got a little bit of texture to it, kind of maybe looks like fabric now, something like that. And then we can close this. And then you can download for free from this website up to 300 by 300. So you can kind of see what that might look like. I'm going to go with something around 270 by 156. I'm going to go ahead and download this. You can just check to make sure it's seamless, and then download the JPEG of that. And then, you know, I think when people offer tools like this, if it's something that you find useful, definitely, you know, consider donating to them. Okay, so let's go back to our website here. And then let's go ahead and edit the background here. And I'll show you a cool trick that I also found with the background image. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the default background image. I'm going to upload that background image that we just created. There we go. Blah, 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 blah. Upload image. And so by default, it spreads it out across the entire page. I'm going to turn the parallax effect off. I'm going to set the background image size to actual size. And then we're going to change the background image repeat to repeat. And now we've got this sort of full width image, but it's pretty busy for what we have. So to change that, we're going to add in a gradient, add in a background gradient effect. And we're going to go ahead and place the gradient above the image, and then we're going to select our colors. So I want the bottom color, which is green right now, to be white, so it's going to blend in with this other section that we have here. And then the top color, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. I think I might go black. I might go black. I might change that to white, but we'll see here. But what I'm going to do now is just dial down the opacity so we can start seeing the pattern that we created in the background. I'm going to do that for the white also. Actually, I'm going to leave the white the way it is. That way it blends in. I'm going to change. Gradient direction is good. That's where we want it. I'm going to change the start position. No, I'm going to leave the start position. I think that's good. And let's see what we want to do with this. Do I want to make this even lighter? Let's try if we go with white here also. There we go. Just an idea. One way of sort of adding a little bit of texture to your website is adding a background. So something you can mess with on your own. You can also add that same background here, just kind of get that unified look. So I'm going to go over here, background image, go with that. So exact same process here, turn parallax off, actual size, set repeat to repeat. And in this case, I am going to put in a gradient, add a background gradient, but I'm going to make both of them white, and I'm going to have the white be the outside so that it blends up here. And then let's change the direction to radial so we can see what we're doing. Actually, want the outside to be white. And let's turn this here to place gradient on top of image. So now we're on the, this should be the inside color. So let's dial that down. There we go. So you can see how the pattern is kind of showing up behind here. and how it kind of still blends in between, and we get the pattern look behind there. So it's kind of, let's make that a little bit wider so that we don't get this hard edge here. Actually, let's just, let's change the start position of that. And I mean, you can see that this is one of the great things about starting with a pre-made template is that it does take a bit of time to design these different layouts and get them kind of looking the way you want them to. Just going to dial the end position down a little bit just so that it smooths out this edge right here. Something like that. And you want to go a little bit over because as we use this on different size screens, it might have an effect on how the background looks. And so there we go. Just a quick way of adding some interesting texture to the background of this blog post template. Okay, and then the last thing we need to do is just click Save down here. Really important step. And we can close out of this template. Okay, and then from here we just need to make sure we click Save Changes to make sure that this template gets saved and all the changes we've made get saved and that template gets added to our website. And then we just need to assign it. So to assign it, you just click on the 3 dots here. We click Manage Template Assignments. And we've got all of these different places where we can have that template show up. We can either have it show up to all of our posts. We can have it show up to specific blog post categories. We can have it show up so it just shows up on one specific post. Or we can have it show up on specific posts with specific tags on them. So a lot of options here. Since this is the first single blog post template we've made, I'm just going to have it set to all posts. And in this particular case, I already have a all posts assignment made. So in order to change this to all posts, I need to delete that assignment from the other template and then come back here and add it on. So let's just do that real quick. So I've got my all posts over here. Just go over here, go to manage, go to reset template assignments. And I can go back to the post that we just created, click on the 3 dots, click manage template assignments, and then select all posts and save. And then again, really important, make sure you click Save Changes up here at the top to have those changes locked in. Okay, so as you can see, there's a lot you can do with the design of your single blog post page, and you can really extend that out to a bunch of different parts of your website. And then using categories and tags, there's a lot you can expand upon to really extend the usefulness of your website as well as interact with your viewers better. So if you found this tutorial helpful, please give me a thumbs up and let me know what you want to learn about next building your WordPress website. Thanks for watching.